Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I want to talk about a solo gold farm that I already mentioned in other videos, and this is something that is still worth more than 100k gold on average per hour very easily. So definitely something I want to cover again just to make sure that you are still aware that this farm is out there and that it's still something you can make some gold with. So this gold farm has been introduced into the game in patch 10.0.7 and it's taking place in Zul'Gurub. Basically, with this gold farm, all you want to do is gather some of these Hakkari Bijoux that you can then transform into some of these Gurubashi tributes, simply because inside these tributes, as you can see, you will have a chance at getting all these different ancient plants and recipes, including two that are extremely interesting. These are the ancient plants for the warblades of the Hakkari reborn and also for the venomreaver. So these are really the two big ticket items that we're after, but as you can see, you have a couple of other ones that are interesting, even though these are not going to make you rich. These two are really the ones we're after. Just to show you, in terms of value, for instance, on average on European realms, the ancient plants for the warblades of the Hakkari reborn is 250,000 gold, when on the US it's 200,000 gold, and then for the ones for the venomreaver it's 150,000 gold on average on European realms and 194,000 gold on average on US realms. As you can see, I've been able to sell a lot of these different plants, and as you can see, sometimes I'm even able to sell some of them for more than 500,000 gold, so definitely worth it. And this is still something I'm doing right now, and I'm still selling a lot of them. And keep in mind, these will sell whether you're playing on a low pop realm, high pop realm, simply because people will need these different plants in order to craft these different items. In order for you to start doing this farm and start getting some of these Hakkari Bijoux and some of the Gurubashi tributes, you will need to do a couple of things. As you can see, in order to be able to get some of these Hakkari Bijoux inside Zul'Gurub, you will need to unlock this achievement right here, the Relics of a Fallen Empire. I'm not going to explain in details how you can unlock this achievement simply because I already covered this in another video that I will share in the description. And also, if you want, there is a really good guide on WoW that explains very easily what you need to do. It's pretty simple. And like that, as soon as you have this achievement, you can then come inside Zul'Gurub and then you will have a chance at getting some of these Hakkari Bijoux. So there are three main sources in order for you to get some of these bijoux. The first one, which is the best one, let's say, is by simply killing all these different bosses. Each time they will drop one bijou, and they will also have a chance at dropping one of these big bag of bijoux that will have inside 3 random bijoux. So this is really the best way, but keep in mind you can only kill these different bosses once per day per character. So this is the only catch. Then, next to that, you can also receive some of the bijoux by killing some of the trash mobs all around the dungeon. So I would always encourage you to kill some, even if it takes a little bit more time, because you will be able to get some additional bijoux like that. And finally, when you come just here, you will see some random villagers who are fishing. And when you approach the water, you will basically get a buff that will be called the Mud Skunk Aroma buff. And when you start fishing with this buff, you will have a chance at getting this Gurubashi cache right here, or the waterlogged Gurubashi cache. And inside, you will also have a chance at getting one more bijou. But keep in mind, you can only do that once per day per character. So as you can see, what I usually do is as soon as I enter, I start killing some of the trash mobs that are around, especially the crocodilisks and everything. Then I go and I start killing some of the mobs and some of the bosses. You really want, again, to make sure to spend a little bit of time killing some of the mobs, because as you can see, they will sometimes drop some of the bijoux, and like that, it's way more efficient because, again, you can only kill the bosses once per day per character, and so like that, you have a better chance of having even more bijoux. Then I really just circle around, and as you can see, you can pretty easily manage to do all of that in not even just 5 to like 10 minutes, depending on how much time you spend on killing the different mobs. And then for the last boss, Jindo, you will have to make sure to kill some of these big guardians that are just next to him before engaging the boss, because as soon as you will engage the boss, you will be basically teleported into this realm of shadows. And then when you are in this realm of shadows, or like spirit realm, you will need to use these different like big giants in order for them to jump on you and break the spell around the chains that you can then kill in order to kill the boss. So just one thing you really want to make sure before engaging Jindo. Then once you have some of these Hakkari Bijoux, all you want to do is get your hands on this toy right here, the Brazier of Madness. Again, everything is explained in the guide or also in the video I posted, so I encourage you to just go watch that because it's very easy to get. All you want to do when you have the toy is then just coming into the instance. As you can see, all the different ads and all the different mobs will be hostile. And then you just want to click on the braziers. You want to summon the braziers. And then you want to have with you one of these Gurubashi Mojo Madness that you can find easily on the auction house. And you just want to click on it. And as you can see, you will be transformed into either a golem or a troll. And then you will be able to start interacting with all these different mobs inside the dungeon, as well as with these different little offering of mojo. These are some piles of bones. When you click on them, you will then be able to offer some of the bijoux, and in exchange, you will receive each time one of the Gurubashi tributes. So there are 4 different areas where you can find some of these offering of mojo. As you can see, it's behind each of the main bosses. So you have 4 in total. So you really want to make sure to go and check all of them in order to use as many bijoux as possible when you have all of them and you want to start getting some of these cash. One thing that I really want to insist on is the fact that these different Hakkari Bijoux are bind to your account. So it means that you can send everything on one character, and like that you will be able to have even more cash. Also, for instance, if you are playing on a realm where unfortunately there's a lot of competition, or where maybe the prices for these different items is not so good, what you can do is simply send all of that on a realm where you have a character that can still enter Zul'Gurub, and then when doing that on this character, you will then be able to receive the different recipes and everything on this other realm, and you will then be able to sell them on this other realm. So keep in mind, even if on your realm the value of the different recipes and everything is not so good, you can still manage to send everything on another character on another realm, and then try to get all these different plants and recipes on this other realm. So here, of course, what I would recommend you to do before using all these different Gurubashi Bijoux is to go on the Oribos exchange, and here you want to type Ancient Plants Warblades of the Hakkari Reborn, and you want to go on your realm or on your region, and here you really want to see what is the current value on your realm, and also where you can maybe find a better realm, because like that you will then be able to target a realm and to send everything there in order to then get all the different cash and everything on this realm instead of the one where you're currently playing on. Really, all you need to do is come here, as you can see at the bottom of the page, and you will be able to see where are some of the best realms, and like that you can really select the best ones. And finally, when you have all your different Gurubashi tributes, as you can see, you just want to click on it and you will then be able to receive different type of items. And if you're lucky, you will get some of the plants and recipes, and especially the 2 ones that are really, really interesting. But of course, there is a very low drop chance, so you will need to open quite a lot in order to have a chance at getting these 2. Now, I just want to provide you with a couple of tips just to make it as easy as possible. First of all, if you are doing it on multiple characters, and usually this is the best way to get as many bijoux as possible, what I would recommend you to do is to always make sure that your character is outside of the dungeon. So like that, the next day, when the dungeon will reset, you can directly re-enter, do the farm in a few minutes, go out, and you can do that again and again. If you go back to Valdraken or something like that, you will have each time to come back, which can take quite a lot of time. So if you are planning to do this farm, maybe for 1 or 2 days, just keep all your different alts outside of Zul'Gurub, and like that you will be able to enter and exit very easily. Also, you really want to make sure to have your character outside of the dungeon, because if you log out inside the dungeon and then log back in the next day, you will be teleported back to where your Earthstone is set up. So for instance, for me, it's Valdraken. So it means that if I forget to exit the dungeon before I log out, again, I will be teleported back to Valdraken and I will have to travel back, which can take, again, a little bit of time. Also, sometimes you will get some of these different materials, such as for instance this one or this one. What you can do is just check the current value and you can try to sell them on the auction house if it's not too cheap. But it can be a nice little addition sometimes. So just something that I want to mention. Finally, my last little tip is that as you can see, when you are just outside of the dungeon, let's say for instance you arrive as a horde character from this camp right here, what you can do is simply check the few chests that are around, simply because sometimes they will contain some pretty nice items such as transmog items, toys and everything. So just something you can do as well. It can just take a few more minutes, but it can be an additional way to make a little bit more gold. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you will be able to make some gold with all these different plants and patterns. Keep in mind this is something that will still probably be relevant until the end of the expansion and even after that. So definitely something you should always try to check, especially the value again for these two plants and recipes right here that are really good. I will be back very soon with more videos and more guides, and in the meantime I wish you all a great start of the week. Bye!